pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See that our first order of business is landfill. John, do you have any new information on that? Yeah, did Judy Harris get with me?
I talked to her on the phone, tail end of last week, and she is going to get the list together. She said she hoped to have it by the first part of this week, to turn over everything over 60 days for collection. And that's all I know about it. But she said she would get it.
All right, we'll just move right on to you then.
Okay, last time we met, there was a question about some of the clerk's claims for paying part of the authority incentive fund money to her deputies. I've researched that, she can do it. The county council really doesn't have any say over it, and it's beyond their powers of appropriation. And so she can pay it to anyone she wants, whether it's people, except for herself. She can't pay herself, or office equipment or supplies. So yes, those claims can be approved.
Everybody here tonight?
You want to go on to some other things?
Maybe we better get that taken care of. I've got,
Just sign off on
I've got a advice of the county attorney as to whether we should pay this as Peggy's presented it to us and pass it on to council for payment.
And neither the council nor the commissioners really have the right to say differently on the 40 incentive fund money. And that's per Indiana statute, the particular statute.
Do I have a motion to pay these claims?
I'm moving pay the claim.
I have a motion to have a second.
I think I'm gonna stay out of this one if I can.
All right, I'll second the motion. Being as how I'm having to go ahead and second the motion, I would like to say that I would like to see this money spent to hire another person if we're not going to pay any overtime hours on it. I really thought I wouldn't have to say anything, but I have, so I have. We could pass it real quick, whoever wants it.
Yeah.
And that was a 2-to-1 vote, is that?
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna vote against it, but I'm not gonna vote for it either.
So you're abstaining? I didn't shy away from anything.
Just out of curiosity, how much bonus did they get for doing their job?
Looks like about $1,500 per person.
Are you kidding me?
What's gonna happen when everybody else wants a bonus for doing their job?
See if 4D's got any more money, I guess.
You don't think they could have found a more appropriate place to place that money?
I've said what I said, and that's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna move on, John.
Okay.
Is that all deposited originally in the general fund? All that 4D money, or is it go to like a?
It's a 40 fund.
It's 40 fund, and a certain percent goes to the prosecutor's office, a certain percent goes to the clerk's office, and a certain percent, where does that go? Is it to the clerk? Not to the clerk's.
What I do is for the clerk and prosecutor.
But the prosecutor, he holds like little educational seminars with his, doesn't he? He don't give it
Well,
out as a.
he can do whatever he wants to with it. I don't know how they utilize theirs. I always use it for training and supplies, equipment that they couldn't otherwise get. Sometimes helping police officers get different things of equipment that their cities or towns don't have the money to get. So, but
You have to turn in.
you don't have to do any of that.
If you don't have any say as to whether that's paid or not, why does it even have to come before you?
Because it's our job to approve the claims.
You have to approve it, you just
The
don't
auditor
have to
would-
agree
The
with
auditor
it.
wouldn't pay it until we told her to, basically.
Vicki, Kalpus, where'd she go? There she is. Wanted me to look over a contract, and I did, and it was fine. I don't know if that's coming up later, or it coming up, okay, we'll deal with it later. You asked me last time to also look up some information on this cumulative, county cumulative billing. And we can do it. The commissioners have to enact an ordinance establishing the fund, and only the commissioners can do that. But then in terms of supporting or financing the fund, the county council has to set the rate, although the commissioners can make a recommendation to the council. It has to be introduced at a meeting, the ordinance establishing this fund. It has to be introduced at a meeting. It has to be published at least twice, 1 week apart. And then it can be acted on 3 days after the second publication, as far as passing it. And then also it has to be submitted to the local government finance board, because they have to approve it also. I think the rate is somewhere between 1.67 cents and 3 cents. It depends if there's been a particular type of tax in place in the past. I don't think we have ever had this kind of tax. So, that's 1.67 or 3 cents on the 100 in assessed valuation. And it says on all property, both real and personal property assessment. So that's basically what I know about it. If you want to get the ball rolling, if you so instruct me, I'll work up an ordinance to be introduced at the next meeting, and we'll get that ball rolling, because then we'll have to publish it from there.
Is this a tax that expires, or does it
No,
continue?
It continues until it's either reduced or rescinded. So it would continue year after year unless the council or the commissioners did away with it.
And what's the minimum amount?
I think it's 1.67 cents per hundred of assessed valuation.
Or is it the understanding is it can't?
Well, I think they changed it a little bit here.
Marvin, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, when completed, that's the max. In the first year, 1.67, and then it can go up to 3 cents. You don't have to enact it at that. You can enact it at a penny instead of 1.67 if you want to.
How much money will this raise at 1 cent?
I have no idea.
I think it's close to $18 million assessed valuation.
Around,
Isn't that right, Becky?
I'm sorry, I can hardly hear.
Isn't our assessed valuation around 18 million bucks?
I haven't seen a total for this year, I honestly haven't.
Or is it?
Our system's been locked out because the state locked us out, so I have no way of finding out, Lou.
180 million
Roughly $90,000 is what the council
for Panhandle.
has discussed, yes, with the county. So it'll be a little more than this.
But the maximum would be around 150,000.
And we're, right now, we're putting $50,000 in the courthouse repair. And that could be freed up to go
Help.
stay in the general fund for other projects.
But all taxpayers would pay it,
Yes.
just based on assessed valuation.
Just be part of it. Like property taxes, just like Cuba or
But it wouldn't affect the county bridge or anything else. It doesn't deduct from it.
Right.
What's your thoughts on it, Mark?
Well, I always hate to see taxes raised. I mean, we need money for courthouse repair.
Well, and our jail needs
Okay, needs
more. Yes.
Well, I missed part of how this started. But if you're needing to raise taxes in Sullivan County, this is what your general discussion is about. I think you need to look at your total acreage in Sullivan County and the people paying taxes and or the businesses paying in Sullivan County. Because I've been looking at a plat on the way over here, and the acreage for Sullivan County is going down, particularly in the Sullivan, pardon, in the southern half. A great number of acreage has just been deeded to, for a, they call it the Green Sullivan State Park, which takes it out of taxing purposes. And that other part of those acreages do not pay the same rate as your average people paying taxes.
Right.
So, you're either going to have everyone paying the same rate, or you're going to stop having these big globs of acreage going to the state for no taxes to be paid on them. And then when they want to use them again, they bring them back in for profit.
And how would you propose that we stop that?
You know what I'm talking about.
Vicki, you might be able to answer this question. On the mineral estates, like where you have severed mineral estates, for example, under the state forest, are there taxes being paid on all those severed mineral interests?
Probably not if the state owns them.
No, it wouldn't be where the state owns, it's where
If
the,
people own them,
It-
$60 an acre for several severed minerals.
how can we determine what mineral estates are being paid on and what ones aren't? I mean, I realize that the mineral estates aren't in the tax system.
We have a mineral book, we have mineral books, we know who's paying minerals.
But I mean, to bring a mineral estate active, all you gotta do is pay the back taxes, is that right? Like, let's say you have a mineral estate that has neglected to pay their taxes.
For 30 years.
For 30 years, and then what happens?
They go in and pay them and they take them back out.
Oh, so they can let them lapse for 30 years, basically.
If no one has challenged that, to bring it back in conjunction with the surplus. Because I had some that fell under that category.
I'd be interested to know who owns the minerals underneath most of the state forest. Because I'd say it's various coal companies and various energy companies. I don't think it just, that would be at least a little bit of assessed valuation we might be able to redeem.
And it was my understanding they had just leased or given those to them as the same arrangements like they have the Minnehaha hunting reserve. The first one was a 20-year lease.
But I think the state forest though is mostly deeded acres. There's
And then
there's a separate surface estate, I'd say, in what you're talking.
That's a bigger time limit. And then when that time limit is up, okay, we're ready to take our ground back because we're ready to strip again.
How much would it cost to establish an electronic database of mineral owners in the county? I realize that we've never really caught up with the times with our mineral ownership.
I think the state sets our rates as far as that goes. That comes in our guideline books. As far as the rate,
Well, I'm not arguing on the rate. What I'm saying is, what would it cost the county to bring our old archaic type of mineral books up to the modern times?
We may find that out here in a few minutes. Is the new programming that you're looking at going to be able to have the mineral rights separate from?
we've got gas and oil, but they won't have, the state's never asked for mineral rights per se. I mean, reports on that.
Yeah, but I think as a county, when you got half of the county with severed mineral interests and we're struggling for tax dollars.
We have books that they're charged for those mineral rights.
I realize that, but I'm also saying that a large portion of these minerals are also in arrears.
He wants to be able to look and see who they belong to.
But not only that, to bill them, because we have a bunch of assessed valuation that we'd be getting taxes on that we're not.
If you look at the entire county plat book, the majority of Sullivan County is owned by various coal companies.
Well, and even ones that's owned by individuals, a lot of times there's a separate mineral estate, and there may be a different owner for the gas and a different owner for the coal, and it's difficult for our county to bill. I mean, you don't know how to generate those bills, because they're not in the
books.
not in the books. Well, 20 years ago, there wasn't computers to speak of.
That's been going on like that for years and years.
And they all say it.
Yeah.
We'll loop back to the topic of discussion. What's your thoughts on it?
I think we need to come up with whether it be $5,000 or $10,000 and hire a part-time person to come in here and try to update some of these outdated. I think we make our money back in the first year and just tax bills. I mean, if you come up with several thousand acres of assessed valuation, I mean, even at $60, you have that in perpetuity, that's worth investigating.
Okay, but we're discussing with John whether we want him to draft taxing.
Yeah. Well, I think while we have assessed valuation, it's important to make because our overall picture of assessed valuation is going to dramatically change once the mines move out. But, I hate to see this tax go on forever and ever and ever, too. If we're going to use it for a specific purpose, I think it ought to be limited to a certain time frame, maybe 15 years or 10 years.
Well,
Because the burden's going to fall on the taxpayers that's left.
Have you
How much is the tax gonna be and who is going to pay it?
Everybody's gonna pay it.
It'll be on assessed valuation, as well as wheel.
They're talking about a penny.
1.67, John, is that what you're saying the minimum is?
Well, it could be the maximum
Maximum.
for the first year. But it doesn't have to be imposed at that. It can be imposed at a penny or half a penny.
Okay. That was my
1.67
question.
is the maximum first year.
1.67 is the maximum first year, and then it can go up to
Three.
up to 3.
On assessed value.
Almost that's the
Real and personal property.
Did you have a question, Vicky?
What about the tax caps?
It doesn't fall under that.
Okay,
It's not affected by tax caps.
our assessed values are affected by the tax cap, so what are we talking about taxing? The houses and the ground and,
All of it.
well, that
Both
does
re-
fall under the tax cap.
Both real estate and personal property, but this type of tax is exempt from the tax caps.
It's exempt from the tax caps.
Can you limit it to so many years? Could you implement it with
I've never
the
heard of it.
idea that it expired after so many years?
I suppose you could. The statute just says that it stays in effect year after year until it's either reduced or rescinded. In other words, the future governmental body can vote to rescind it. That's how the statute is.
I'm gonna ask for a motion to draft, to have John draft the needed documentation to send to the council to implement this tax. And it's up to the council to set the rate, is that correct, John?
The commissioners just passed the ordinance establishing it. Now, you can make a recommendation to the council as to the rate and so forth, but the council sets the rate.
I'm more concerned with limiting the time. Can we do that legally?
I suppose you could put that in as a recommendation. Because all you guys do is vote to establish it, and it's out of your hands. But you can make recommendations to the council.
And I see the need for it, but at the same time, I hate to be the one to make everybody pay more money. But at the same time, we have assessed valuation now, and 15 years from now, we're gonna be dealing with a lot less assessed valuation in 20 years. But you don't think a time limitation would hold up necessarily on it?
Well, it might if you enact it for a specified number of years. The statute just says you can reduce it or rescind it altogether. And it's not something that you enact and it's there necessarily forever, but whether the amounts are reduced or the building fund is ever rescinded will depend on future commissions and council.
And what's our deadline, John?
Well, there's all kinds of different time periods for different things, but basically, you have to, like I say, we would have to have the ordinance introduced, published 2 times, 1 week apart, and you can act on it 3 days thereafter, after the second. And in that period of time, then, it has to go to the state. Yeah. Yeah, the financial, to them, for them to review. And then it can come back and there can be an objection period, and then it has to be to the council by August 1st. So I'm not saying you have to enact it tonight, but you gotta get the ball rolling if you're going to have it for the local government finance board, and get it back from them in their opinion before it would go to the council August 1st.
How many of these counties have enacted this type of a tax?
I have no idea.
So we're not pressed necessarily with time on it?
No, you don't have to enact it tonight or anything like that. But what I am saying is that if it gets to the council, it has to get to the council by August 1st. That leaves April, May, June, July. I don't know. It sounds like a long time, but really by the time it runs through the procedure of us establishing it, and then sending it to the local government finance board for their opinion, however long that may take, and getting it back to us, it's not something we can go down and go too awfully long and still meet those time frames. But no, we don't have to enact it tonight. In fact, if we could, because we don't have a proposed ordinance on the table. All I would do, if you so instructed, then all I would do is to draft a proposed ordinance.
And that's all I'm really asking for tonight, is to let John draft it, then we can vote on it when he gets it
Okay,
drafted.
yeah, go ahead
And then
and work it out.
the proposed ordinance is, we should adopt this cumulative building fund and suggest a rate if you so desire. You don't have to suggest a rate.
I'd like to see an ordinance that also expires after maybe 15 years.
He'll know when he comes back if that's possible.
Right, so maybe draft one that's kind of open-ended and one that got a 15-year.
The one in which we can fill in the blanks.
Right.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to have you look into it and draft ordinances to that effect.
I have
And
no
we can
motion.
discuss it later.
We're all in favor.
But I'm interested,
Brenda?
I'm interested too in finding out finding some of our new assessed valuations.
Right. Are there still no way that we can get a county mineral extraction of any kind?
It's a legislative thing, Darryl, and Luke seems to think there's some future in it.
We got more up now.
positive, but
It's funny, you can go to Kentucky and they got all kinds of damn roads and we ain't got crap. And in a short time, what you're talking about, that tax right there, in a short time, who's gonna be left in this county? These kids coming up ain't gonna be able to live in this county.
No, you're right.
Because you ain't gonna have enough people left here. They give the cold crown back to the state until they want it back, and then they take it back.
yeah.
I mean, until we can come up with some way to make a difference there, it's just a downhill.
How is it that their ground is assessed differently than regular farmers' ground? I've always been curious of that.
Mine ground,
He doesn't apply for mine. I don't believe.
if it's farmed, it's done as farm ground, however they're using it, that's how it's, and if they're stripping it, it's $525 an acre.
After that,
That's, yeah, until it's reclaimed, and then it would be back up to normal once they reclaim it, you know.
when you say reclaim, is that like the 20-year bonding period?
Well,
Or is that
when
like
they no, basically when they finish it off, it's supposed to be, you know, we're supposed to be notified, and it goes back to the regular base price that is what, 16 something right now per acre for farm ground, and then you soil type it and go from there and what it's used for.
But if I buy ground at $10,000 an acre to establish my business on, I'm taxed at $10,000. So if the coal mine pays $10,000 an acre, they're only assessed at farm ground prices? Is that what I'm
That's
hearing?
what they're using it for. They're not using it for business. If they're farming it or making pasture land or something
I
like
guess
that.
my question, how's that fair to the local business people if you're not if we're not assessing everybody the same.
But there again, that's a legislative thing
You
that
know, I can't.
Look, I'm
we
sorry.
can't do anything about it, Mike. It's done at the state level and
The assessing is done by our county.
you know,
No, the state
but they
sets how
have
we
laws
do
they
it.
have to go by.
State sets the land and how we do it, and they give us the price
For them
And
specifically.
honestly, once
for
the coal company buys
anybody
it for money,
except for like lots and things like that. And
It-
that's
it should.
calculated by a group of people, and it's put in the paper, and it's advertised, and people have the opportunity to come in, see what the prices are, and to protest it, and then the state comes in and looks at it, and, pardon?
It must not be it must be in Indianapolis, because I've never seen anything in Sullivan.
Oh, we had one a couple of years ago, we have to do it every reassessment. We had Bill and Dora Mayfield were here, and the company that did it for me, and we had a few other, we had some farmers, can't even tell you their names now, but we had some farmers here, and we get their input on it. Now, the state does set the price for farm grant, we have no control over that. The state does set that. And if people say, I disagree with that, and they can show us that, you know, they are right, it's not selling for that high, they base it on the disclosures that we get in the, you know, in our office, how it's selling, that's how the prices are based on.
But as always,
Benji, you got it?
they give the
I completed an engineering study, I gave you all a copy of it. I've asked that we establish a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit through Paxton on Woolley Avenue, which is 425 south, from 100 east to 175 east. If you please.
I need a motion on this.
I will make a motion, we accept Benji's recommendation.
Second, we're all in favor.
And that would be, that needs to be, John, that needs to be published a couple times, is that right? I think. Published 2 times, John?
On the speed limit.
Setting the speed limit, it just has to be published one time
Okay.
after it's been adopted.
Okay,
And the reason is it can't be enforced until it's published.
right.
There's the assignment.
Also, I give you 2 asphalt plans for you to vote on, however you please, and
Which ones did you add?
I didn't have anything to do with it, Rick. I just told Benji to do it and give us 2 to vote on. And I picked my copies up Friday and had a chance to look at them then. Benji, can you tell Luke what you?
Okay.
Which one's the one we voted on last time?
Plan A. And I've added in Center Road too, on Plan A, where you wanted to hook up those 2.
Yeah.
Okay, also, added $100,000 of undistributed roads to be about, which would be about 4 miles to grind and add oil to, since we may have an opportunity to lease a grinder for a month. And those roads haven't been picked out yet. It's gonna depend on a lot of things, could depend on how this demonstration goes Thursday and Friday. Plan B takes out gravel roads. And it adds, with the exception of Center Road, I left that in there. Which absolutely makes no difference to me either way, but it is in both plans. Which that's just a short little piece anyway. I added another mile of Airport Road on Plan B. I added 975 North and Division Road, which is west of 41 past North Central High School. And I also added on that, I guess that was it. No, I added 300 north from 300 west to 41. So I added, if we take out that gravel road, we can do about 3.5 more miles.
So part of the airport road,
Yeah, the first 3/4 of a mile from 154 to the airport was in there anyway. And Plan B adds another mile to that up to 300 north.
And then also from 200 all the way to 41 to the east right there.
And, yeah, 300, all the way from 300 west to 41.
but we'd be lacking the blacktop from Long Chapel to,
Right, that's what Plan B would take out.
I'd- I'll make a motion, we accept Plan A and bid it out, that Plan A.
I have a motion for Plan A, which includes blacktop and new gravel roads. Do I have a second? I don't have a second, please. If you want to make another motion.
Well, the only reason I'd like to see that happen, we spent that money on Long Chapel Road to hopefully see it hooked up. That's $200,000 wasted if we don't hook it up.
Well,
And it's not really wasted, but it's kind of a nice road to nowhere.
well, and
People that would happen to build on that road, they could get to Sullivan on blacktop, they'd get to Linton on the blacktop.
but I'm not sure, but I bet if you went out there right now, that water might be over that road.
For 30 yards of it. I know what you're talking about, it's nasty there, but.
Ain't much out there to build one, are there? All Colton man.
They've turned a lot, Templeton sold a lot, and so was Peabody, they sold a lot. Lot of them, like that.
Lucas motion died for the lack of second. Do I have another motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept Plan B.
I have a motion to accept Plan B. Do I have a second?
I'll second it if that's the way we're gonna go.
All in favor?
Can we set a bid date of, the middle, the second meeting in April, which would be 15th. Yeah, turn that and make sure, but I think it'd be 15th. If I had specs written in 1 week, Brenda, would that be enough time to advertise that and get it bid on the 15th? That'd make 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We can
As
get
long
it
as we got
advertised in
10
3
days.
weeks. 10 days in between.
Yeah.
So I'll try to have the specs done within the week.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, thank you. Couple other things. I had talked to Jay Southwood at Shelburne. He was wanting to add some things, possibly adding onto our bid, but I've kind of talked him out of that because I went and looked at his roads that he wanted to do, and some of them are in real bad shape and don't have any base to them. And he's only got 18,000 to spend, and if he were to do anything properly, he would have to spend an awful lot of money on very little road. So he said what we've done in the past by making cold mix for him has worked out well for him. So with your approval, I'll get with Jay and order the proper materials, and they pay it directly, but we mix it and we lay it for him, which no more than he's gonna make would take less than a day, if that's okay with you guys. We've done that in the past.
I don't have a problem with
Okay, I'll arrange that and get this stuff ordered through Jay. Another thing, who was it came to see me today? Oh, Alan Huff. Who came to see me today? Yeah. Alan Huff came to see me today about a culvert at the 4-H grounds. they're wanting to open that very far west or east gate during the sale that they're gonna have, and that culvert needs to be replaced. Can we take a 12-inch culvert that we've got up on the hill and replace that culvert and maybe do a little work to that driveway? Is that okay with you guys? We do that? Might cost a little bit of money and rock, but they've probably got some money.
They've got some rock laying down there in the corner, I think.
Okay, well, you know, we just have them distribute, buy the rock and we'll do the work? Okay, sounds good. I think that's all I've got.
Okay, you got a
I
question?
have two questions for Benji. Did your specs include blacktop for 900 east and gravel for 800 south?
Gravel?
Yes, you promised me 2 meetings ago
Oh,
that you
yeah,
would have
you've already-
gravel for 800 south.
Yeah, I told you we'd do that in April.
That's what I'm asking you, if your specs included that.
This is a new
And-
bid, it has nothing to do with that.
I just want to make sure. And the commissioners had promised that there would be blacktop down certain distance, down 900 south.
There's
Just past Johnny, pardon me?
Oh, no, that part's not in there.
Mhm. A young man who lives on 900 South has come to several meetings, and they put gravel down his road and certain other, but to no avail, and they finally promised him blacktop on down, promised blacktop down past his house. And then after just past the last,
We were gonna try to get it in.
before the last
That-
commissioners went out, they got
That
that when they
$800,000 is in that
put
plan.
up the last two
And John had talked
sides.
about.
So is that part of the
No,
last closure?
no.
I know,
We never did officially act on it, but we had talked about it, and it was actually, in the same initial plan that we included the blacktop to the Longs Chapel, we talked about that short, it's only like a quarter mile, not even a quarter mile section, it's like a 100-yard section.
and this is in Pleasantville?
No, if you're going into Peeville at the county line, that's a blacktop right into town. And this is that section that we blacktop real nice behind their house. There's a short section of gravel here, and all the mine trucks just go down it like a highway. And we were just gonna gravel past his house where we wouldn't have the dust. It's a real short section, it's gonna be less than 20,000, wasn't it?
I measured that and I don't remember what it was.
It was
offhand.
like $17,000 to hot mix it.
900 East is the Green Sullivan County line. A lot of commissioners don't know the county roads
I tell you
down
what
there
we can
either.
do
But
is,
if they ever came down there and they'll check them out.
We've got roads in the bid down that area anyway, so it wouldn't be any big deal to add it once we see how the bid's
Just to
coming
see
in.
what it,
Or I can add it and put it on the bid for that matter, but whichever way you wanna do it.
but that road is traveled terrible, it's bad.
Is that
Is it as bad
check-
since we put the weight limit signs up? Has it helped any?
is that an approved road?
The
then?
mine trucks have obeyed it to a certain
To a certain
extent.
extent?
They have stopped and started using the whole road, but the vendor trucks haven't.
Mhm.
Is all I can tell you. It has slowed down the
It's
truck,
insane, the way
traffic
it
to
is.
a
That
certain
used, nobody
extent.
traveled that road used to.
But,
We probably knew it wouldn't stop it, but we wanted it to
oh, no,
help
it won't stop it, but there's no, to say it would. And the second question I wanted to ask you was, how much does it cost to make up those little white signs that you put up now at the corner of Blacktops about weight limit signs?
See, each sign cost,
Why do you do that? They can't be enforced. Do you really expect that they,
they are paid attention to.
they,
Now, that might not stop everybody, now.
I was gonna say, they
It's kinda
won't
like-
be enforced,
It's
that's
kinda
for
like the
sure.
permanent weight limits. Some of them pay attention to them and some of them
And
don't.
maybe some do and some don't.
So we figure if half of them pay attention to them, we've saved a little stress on the road.
On the blacktops, you don't
But I
do it
think
on
they
the
can,
gravel.
I think it can be enforced. I think the sheriff can write a ticket on it,
We might be able
Well,
to.
according to, they don't.
but they can.
They think that it's DOT's, not the sheriff's, pardon me, I stutter. They think it's up to DOT to enforce.
That something
Because
like
they,
this would be
they
sufficient
don't
for
know
what
how
you
much is
need
actually
for dust control.
They can't
the
weigh.
weight on the
Because,
truck.
I mean, it's really unhealthy.
That was
That's true.
that was their explanation.
To answer your
at the
question,
last,
signs cost $1 a
problem
piece,
That was
or
brought up. at the
$2.
meeting.
Signs cost $2 a piece.
We have noticed several signs going up at blacktops around the county down
Yeah,
there.
and that's a temporary.
And we just said, you know, why are they bothering? They didn't enforce it the last time they put them
It
on,
helps. It helps a lot.
because they won't, you know, stop them.
I have a lot of
Give them
people
ticket.
call me and want my preferred route, and I help them get around those blacktop roads. So I know it's helping some, because those people do pay attention to them and try to abide by them.
Blacktop.
Now,
People who
yeah,
come
yeah,
to
and
speed
some of
on
them
a
won't.
gravel road and
Some of them
they
won't.
help them, so.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just a question.
Brenda?
Okay, first I gotta get this signed.
I make a
Minutes.
motion, we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Let's correct them a little bit.
Or is there some that needs to be corrected? I just want to see. There it is. Some of those need to fix things up.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Causes a
Have you got a copy of the corrections?
No. Been nice if we got one.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve the minutes with the adopted corrections that Jane specified.
Got a motion, a second, and we're all in favor of it.
Jan, I'll put this in your box. And then I have to have signatures. This is where Tina's gonna be off to have surgery, Tina Wright. She's having knee surgery and she wants medical leave. Who's it on? Tina
Got a
Wright.
motion on this, John, or?
Yes. The only reason you guys are involved is because you were for policy.
Yeah.
You made that motion, Lee?
I'm not saying anything on this deal. I signed it.
Marvin, do I have a motion?
Chandler medical leave.
Oh.
No, I'm moving.
I'll second. Are we all in favor?
Yeah.
This is something that we started working on, handicap, everything would be handicapped. So we need that signatures on that.
Yeah, this here is just so we can receive proposals on the handicap study. It's not binding us to anything at this point. Yeah, make a motion, we,
Have a second.
I think we actually maybe seconded that motion here a while back, just,
Yeah. Then I have two claims.
That's not recording.
I have two claims that Jim Pearl brought in.
okay.
So we can get on
Make a motion, we approve these two claims. EMA,
the emergency management.
Have a motion, and a second. All in favor?
And that's all I have.
Luke, did you have anything?
yeah, actually, I just got this letter here, Benji typed it up for me today. But I talked to John Waterman this morning about our building situation, but he informed me that the state is looking to chip and seal some of the main highways in Sullivan County. And I just wanted to write a letter and get everybody to kind of formally contest chipping and sealing our highways.
I just specified June 59, is that right?
That's fine, but I also think there were others involved with it, that's fine.
I found his address in the book, so.
And what were they doing, Benji? They're chipping and sealing 159 as opposed to resurfacing it?
And we've asked that they reconsider and hot mix it. Due to the heavy truck traffic. Did I word that all right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
I have a motion, Marvin, do I have a second? And we are all in favor.
And then also, as far as those buildings are concerned, I talked to the guy from Peabody on the Minnehaha building, and he's working on it. And I've asked John Waterman then to expedite at least the Sheldon building, and then we can see what happens tax-wise.
So just having to move more of these buildings down.
That's it.
Marvin? I've got a letter here. I haven't read it yet, I just found out about it today, but due to failing health and not able to attend board meetings since July of 2012, I feel that it is in the best interest of Sullivan County Airport, the patrons of the airport, and the taxpayers of Sullivan County, current board members and manager, that I tender my resignation as a member of the Sullivan County Board of Aviation, effective March 31st, 2013. I will continue to serve as a board member at your pleasure until my replacement has been appointed. I feel that I have been blessed to have the opportunity to have worked with the current and past board members, county commissioners, county council, state and federal officials at the airport. The airport is a valuable asset and part of the infrastructure of Sullivan County since 1991. Robert J. McCammon. I'll entertain a motion to accept this letter.
I'll make that motion, and we advertise for a new board member, or how, and we advertise it.
We're all in favor. This happens to be my brother, and he served for 21 and a half years. And he's spent a lot of time and accumulated a lot of grants and done a lot of things at the airport.
Do you need to sign it?
I don't believe we did.
He was a very conscientious board member.
And on that same note, I do have a letter of interest with it.
Okay.
And John, did you bring us copies of the handbook?
I've done it right here. I did have to make the copies yet, though. And I would.
And you're in contact with Judy, and we don't need to do anything else to you and her to get us some.
Right.
And as far as PERF goes, Luke,
Laura has everything that I have, so.
and you can get that to the council for their consideration.
Yes.
And it does state in there that it's 10% of the.
Right.
Yes, it does.
But, I mean, I just assumed that the council didn't want to spend any money, so I didn't have them. They did an actuarial study, and they gave us, I think, estimates, but it was like $3.1 million or something like that, so that wasn't going to happen.
Anyone in the audience with old business as you arrived? Any old business? All right, Sullivan County Ambulance Service.
Yes. Angela Powell's here from the Lucas Center, Rural Health in Terre Haute. We've been doing EKG transmissions since September the 1st of 2012, and she's here to give you guys an update of that.
I'm going to give you guys this paper. You can look at it at your leisure. As Kenny stated, we have, at the Luger Center, we partner for rural health, and we have worked with Sullivan Community Hospital for several years on their telemedicine initiatives. And one of the things that we wanted to bring Kind of at the request of Michelle Smith, was something for EKG transmission from the rural areas where the ambulances drive so far out. Through our innovations, we implemented this project initially in Park County, then in Vermilion County, and have seen some huge successes. If you look on the second page, there's kind of a drawing of what this device is. It's called a Physio Glove, and it transmits directly from the ambulances out on these rural roads. They can also use the 12 leads, so if they arrive at your house out in the middle of nowhere, they can transmit these en route to the hospital. The physician can make a decision about the severity of the heart attack, and then make that decision as to whether you need to stop at Sullivan Community Hospital, or in due diligence, go on to the next facility. And so this project was originally grant funded. This came from a HRSA grant. We purchased the equipment, the MiFi devices, and some booster antennas. Implemented that September. They've done a very good job. They've had 32 transmissions of EKGs, and they've actually identified 2 heart attacks in the field to date. We will continue to investigate and data collect through August of this year, 13, and we will fund it through our grant dollars. At the end of that time, in Park County's, their first year had already expired. We talked to the commissioners about what that sustaining it for your county looks like. And generally, that's the wireless subscription through your, whoever your cell provider is per truck. Obviously, we want to have a full year of data so that we can tell you what it looks like across your county as far as the transmission and your cellular coverage, and what kind of wins the ambulance can demonstrate for heart attack victims. And so basically I wanted to come in, introduce you to the project, and then let you know that we're out there studying it, and we'd like to come back, July, August, tell you what's gone on and see what that sustainability might look like if it's meaningful for your county. Anything else to add?
It's been really working well. One of our medics just the other day called in a STEMI, and we sent the patient on to another hospital, and the patient was alive.
Yeah, Park County has had, and again, you guys are so kind of younger. Park County's been doing it, maybe 16 months now, but they've actually had 5 patients that have had these critical heart attacks way out. They had one that was like north of Turkey Run State Park, and so kind of way out in the middle of nowhere. But when they do this in the truck, they contact the emergency room physician, and he can get a hold of the cardiologist, which means that the cardiologist and the catheterization team can be available, and that's often the only way that you can save the lives of people that are having this certain type of heart attack. So while they're coming from wherever the far reaches of your counties are into the hospital, at the same time, the cardiologist and the emergency room staff and the cath lab team can all be coordinated. And so often when the patients arrive, they go straight in, and they're able to do the immediate intervention to open the vessel, and so that they can save that heart muscle. So it's a pretty big deal. Fortunately, we don't have to use it too often. Most rural counties see 6 to 10 of these particular types of heart attacks, but we know that these are the ones that kill. And we know that we see this in that it's late 30s to early 60s, men and women. So it's some of our precious population that we want to protect. And the farther out that they are, the more the chances that they are going to be more compromised by the time they get to the facility. So
from the time of chest pain to balloon time in the cath lab, it cuts the time way down by this EKG transmission that we're doing.
And what is your expected cost to further this?
the expected cost, Park Counties right now, and that's what I was telling him, it just depends. They have an agreement. They had an agreement originally with U.S. Cellular, and then they went with Verizon. Theirs is $80 a month. They do 2 trucks as well. It's $40 per truck, $80 a month. County Commission approved it and picked it up. Vermilion County is the other one that we do, and they are privately owned by Paul Lee, and he picks that up, and theirs is $90 a month. I guess it depends on your Verizon contract, because theirs ended up being a little bit different at the county level. So he has 2 trucks right now equipped with MiFi devices. So whatever your contract is with Verizon, we don't have We just wanna put the equipment in there.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of money spent on technology, and I think this is a valuable type of technology. I think it'd be a shame to let this lapse.
So the equipment's already there, it'll stay.
The equipment's what I paid for. Now, I will say, these devices in general, they're $3,500. We put two, we put one in each truck, and we fully put the wireless booster antennas in place. The only thing would be, you know, if one of your, you know, if it gets dropped or ran over or some craziness, then you'd have that, it would be $3,500 to replace that to a truck, and that would be something I'm sure you would look in your long-term budget, but from a sustainability standpoint, you just have to make sure that you maintain that wireless coverage from those areas. And we can, I work with Park County, you know, to kind of navigate that closer to the end of time, but I just feel like it's important for the county to know, and the commissioners to know what's going on, what the project looks like, and why it's there, before we come to talk to you about sustainability.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope you never need it. Odds are someone in the county
I
may.
wondered why you were looking at Marvin.
You're welcome.
I do have one more subject to bring up. We've got an ambulance that's down, and it's taking longer to get back up and going than what I thought. Well, I called Jeff Leacock with Mid-American Ambulance about renting an ambulance so we get ours fixed. And this is his proposal. Renting it would be $1,500 for 2 weeks or $2,500 for a month. And we've picked up another dialysis patient, and a patient that goes to radiology Monday through Friday. So getting that ambulance and renting it would pay for itself.
And it is going to be covered by the insurance. Is this the damaged ambulance or is this a different?
It is a damaged ambulance, yes.
Okay, so their insurance will be responsible, is that correct?
I was told that the gentleman I was driving did not have insurance.
So our insurance will be responsible. So we don't have a choice.
But would you prefer the month or the?
Well, I told Jeff that if we could get it for 2 weeks, and hopefully ours will get back there, and if it doesn't, then we can go with the county.
So he'll give us the same price?
Yeah, yeah. And it's unlimited miles. There's no cap on the mileage. I guess you guys have to sign this stuff.
I'll make a motion, we accept this for up to a month, but if we can get by with 2 weeks, why we'll get by with 2 weeks. That's up to you.
Have a motion. We're all in favor.
Do they get to sign that too?
Yeah.
We only signed the price.
Just have to post for you.
What was the rental amount?
1,500 for 2 weeks or 2,500 for a month.
I won't fill in those blanks.
Give it to you tomorrow. Anything else, Robin? Okay, thank you, Dean.
Thank you. Dan Ringer.
How you doing, gentlemen? For the record, I'm Dan Reiniger, and I work with a company called Ameresco. This is my boss, Mark Harebrant. I think he's going to give a presentation, or I can do it. It doesn't matter at all.
For the record, my name is Mark Harebrant. I'm a senior account executive with Ameresco. Ameresco is the largest energy services company, independent in the country. Last year, we did about $700 million worth of energy efficiency type projects throughout the country. Here in Indiana, over the last 14 years, I've done more Indiana County energy improvements through the Guaranteed Energy Savings Program here with Indiana counties than all of our competition combined. We've done 20 Indiana courthouse. We do a lot of jails. I really work with a lot of Indiana counties to help them to improve their facilities by looking for inefficiencies that they have, whether it's in heating and air conditioning, or, you know, in their jail. Jails are usually your highest expenditure of utilities. And what I do is when we go in, I'll just kind of give you an example, is at no cost, we'll come in and we'll do an assessment, and I'll ask that if I'm gonna invest my time at no cost, that I would just ask that you would invest some of your time with maybe some of your staff members. And part of this would be, I would come in, I'd get about 3 years of your utility data, and I'd ask you to sign what's called a utility release form, and that would let me get 3 years of natural gas, electricity, and water bills, so that I could do an assessment on some of your buildings.
And on that, they will look up that information. The auditor doesn't have to go through all that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's why we do the utility release, because I know, especially in the auditor's office, you're busy and you don't have time to be pulling all that. So it's real simple for us to be able to do that. And then based on that, then I will take the square footage of your buildings too. We'll prepare what's called a first pass audit. And I'll I'll walk through your buildings, bird's eye view. I'll set out what's called data loggers, and data loggers tell me what the temperature is, what the humidity is, when motors start, when they stop, when lights go on, when they go off. Gives me a lot of fact-based information. And I have a lot of appreciation as a county commissioner that you have, because I'm actually a county commissioner, and he is too.
Yeah, past three terms, yeah.
And so what I have always tried to do is, and I've had unanimous decisions from council to commissioners on every county project that I've done. And that's hard to do. But in order to do that, I have to give you fact-based information so that you can stand up in front of the public and be comfortable to be able to state what's going on in your facilities. We'll take all this information, we'll put it together in what's called a first pass audit book, and give you an idea about what those savings numbers might be. We'll look for any type of available grants that might be available. One thing that we're very good at is if there are any opportunities with grants, incentives that are out there, I've been very successful in the past trying to get those to help offset some of the costs that are involved in them. And I'm just here, really, I wanted to introduce ourselves, our company. I have a list of all of our references here. I got about 20 Indiana County projects that we've done. I have reference letters on every single one of my accounts that we've done. What you'll see is that almost every one of them say, this is the best project that we've ever done. And the reason why is because we get a lot of input from the people that are here in the community when we're doing this, and a lot of the savings help to offset some of the costs that we find.
Well, you'll also find that my name's on one of them. I was president of the commission whenever they did their project down in Spencer County. They did our jail. And as they did that, the thing that really turned me on about the way they did it, it was very, open and above board. You ask any question, they could answer any question. They could show you any reason for what they did. They did their project at our jail for, I think 7 or 8 years ago, I believe. And it has averaged savings, energy savings of about 17% a year. That's a significant number, especially in the jail. So
one of the things that I will tell you, if anything, you'll know more about your buildings after this is done. Greene County, we've done Greene County, and just here in the last year, I went to them and I said, guys, here's what we found. If I was you guys, I'd do this, this, and this. You don't need me to do that. I don't provide any value whatsoever, and we're friends, and I leave. It's just that type of open relationship that I have with here in the county market, and I'd encourage you to call some of our customers. I'm very involved in the Indiana Association of County Commissioners, the Association of Indiana Counties also.
And what will you charge us to do this assessment?
At no charge. I will come in and I will do an assessment, and I will bring back what's called a first pass audit that will give you an idea, an assessment of the conditions of your building and where there's some savings opportunity and what I would ballpark it cost-wise to be.
Now, what they do afterwards is ask for an RFP or an RFQ, which you're familiar with that process. Request for proposals or request for qualifications. After you do that, you advertise it twice. It goes through that process, and then that gives other people opportunity to bid on, or to put a proposal or request for qualifications again.
So what are you asking for tonight?
Just your approval, if you'd ask me to move forward to do an analysis at no cost, to bring back what's called a first pass audit to you for evaluation.
And you also need the access to our utility data?
Yes, what I would do is I would email auditor's office utility release form and to sign so that I could contact your utilities and gather 3 years worth of information.
I want to make a motion to authorize them to research our utility bills for the past 3 years and let them tour our facilities, see what they think.
On the jail and the courthouse?
On any building we own.
All buildings?
All our buildings. If they want to look at, we'll let them in there.
Do you want to look at our highway buildings as well?
You know, really, what I'll probably, the jail and the courthouse, just from walking in here, I was, if this tells you how long ago it's been that I've been here, Carter Fagley and Carter Hale was sitting up here. Carter Hale was a good friend of mine at the time.
I was probably sitting here too.
It could be, but those would be the two buildings that I would definitely, recommend.
Since you were here last time, you have an annex building.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Probably would be worthwhile for you.
Okay, yeah, I'd be more interested to look at those 3 buildings up there.
Okay. Got a motion and a second, and you are all in favor.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Hey, I'll be in touch and get a card by chance. Or I'll just send you an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vicki?
Oh, wait, sir, I do have one.
Your turn.
My turn.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, as the letter states, you see that the DLGF has said that our
Thank you.
current service for our computers is non-compliant with the state, so we have to buy a new system. We have 2 companies here tonight that have given us bids, Guts and Exsoft. It's 2 of them that we saw demonstrations from. They gave us bid. We saw one other demonstration. He wanted to talk to me the 18th. We saw the demonstration in January, so I figured if it took him that long to get back with me, I didn't really have any use for that. That's why we got rid of them for in the first place. We didn't get any good service, so, and it looked like they weren't. So these 2 bids are the only ones that ended up showing up. I didn't have time to do research, but as you saw that in the paper that there was other assessors that had done some research on these 2 companies. This is Ed Kerner from Exsoft, and this is Janice.
Wilson.
And
Greg.
Greg, okay. From the Guts Corporation.
Okay, and Vicki, I'm at a loss because I don't have any figures in front of me.
Oh, they should have been on one of those
In the
papers.
letter there, I think.
Yeah, there's only one figure that I'm seeing.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't.
One was 160,000.
They've already been
And
to council.
I thought they were in there. Okay, the difference was like 22,780, I think, for the Exsoft. They're the ones that have all the, pardon?
21,000.
21.
892.
Okay. I had we had it written down there someplace, I thought. Anyway, their program was ready to go right now, is what we saw. The girls really liked it. Not saying GETS wasn't a good program, but we have heard a lot of upbeat on Exalt. A lot of, they've got 29 counties in the state, and anyway, they have the programs. He just now emailed his,
Boss,
they do have the capability of getting the minerals out for us and showing us how many minerals we have and where they are and all that. They do have the capability of that. They have the oil and gas, they have personal property. We don't want the disclosure program because the state has that and it doesn't cost anything, so we use it in the state program. Our personal property, mobile homes and real estate, they you know, that's what the DLGF just shot us down. They weren't supposed to check it until this year, but they decided last year they would check ours, and ours was the only one they did. And they've been after us ever since, but it was just
So basically, you're recommending that we accept Exalt, and I'll make that motion
Can I
pending
have the prices though that you're talking about?
that they're not on here.
There's no quotes, you're not putting out any figures? You don't have any figures?
yes. I'm sorry, I thought they were on there. I can't believe it. We typed that up. It was 160,000 for
Whose
one
is
of them.
160 though?
Pardon?
Tell me each of the,
Yes. Theirs was.
I've got, let's see this, that's the GETS proposal.
thank you.
I think it's
They just had a new
119.
one. They had cut theirs down. They just had a new one, and I don't even. I probably got a copy of it on the email. And
That's the next page.
Exalt is right at an even 160,000, I think.
If you don't mind, we'll go in alphabetical order and GETS gets to go first.
Okay.
If you have something you want to say about your product.
Oh, sure. And actually Janice is the assessment expert. Our product is PVD, and it's a fully integrated module for assessor, auditor, and treasurer, but it's also able to be segregated, and we're talking about just the CAMA section, the part that the assessor would use now. It has everything that the county needs. Vicki did reference the oil and gas. None of our existing customers have used that. We have promised to Vicki that we would have that in place at the time. We think it'd take a day or so to develop that, and that will be in place at the time it's going. In terms of the questions that were brought up about the mineral rights, I'm sure we can work with you on something for that as well. We have every size county using it, from Blackford and Brown County to Marion County using that software, and we were the first software to be certified by the state in terms of the DLGF requirements, and we have all the reports for this office holders to prepare for the state. It's a web-based application, so it's can be used on any computer in the county's system. I don't know if you want to talk about the assessment side of this, or.
Yeah, I mean, it's very user-friendly, easy to use and that type of thing. We do have the assessor only in Putnam County, and their auditor uses Loud, just like this auditor here does. And we have the exchange with Loud with no problem. I know Exalt does too, but we do the exchange back and forth with Loud without any issue. Great support team, we'd be here for them every step of the way. And we're not the kind of company that just, you know, you buy the product from us and then you don't see us. Everybody calls my cell phone directly 24 hours a day, it seems like. But we would spend a lot of time here in the county getting them up and running, and then as they need it, anytime they needed us after that. So we're all local people. Most of us have been assessors before that worked for the company. I worked 27 and a half years in Marion County. It's a little election thing. Decided it was time to move off and went to work for, it's Government Utility Technology Services, what that stands for, and went to work for them. Dan Spiker had almost 25 years in Marion County, and he's with us now. Cliff's been working in assessment business for about 24 years. our staff that works on the assessor side has all been in the office, done what they do. So we know what their challenges are. We have excellent reputations with the Department of Local Government Finance, and kind of have some of them on speed dial, and work well with everybody. And we'd love to have the opportunity to work with your county.
And what was your number?
317.
No, what was the price of your product?
Oh, that number. Okay, I said I'd give my cell phone there, but the total for the installation and to buy the software is $119,208, and the yearly support is $19,500. And that yearly support does cover everything. You don't, everything that's, part of our contract. If something's going to be an additional charge because there's a special project you want us to do for you, that would all be talked about ahead of time. And just one other thing I can add to that is we all know that the DLGF and the legislature changes things all the time. And our company is committed that if there are any changes that need to be made because of the legislation, that we implement those changes with no cost to our counties.
Excel? My name's Ed Kerner. I'm a former county auditor and was a county councilman for 8 years, but I've been in this business since 1989. The principal owner of the company is Brian Booker. He started out in the assessor's office in Elkhart County and then went to the DLGF, then worked for a company called Plexus, which Manatron bought out, and decided in 2006 that he was going to develop his own software. We're currently, as of today, in 29 counties. I know that your auditor and treasurer use Lau and Associates. A plus for us is that out of the 29 counties we have, 18 of them have Lau and Associates in the auditor and treasurer's office. So we're very familiar with their software. We work well with them. Our system's fully integrated. It's sketch driven, which we don't have any third-party softwares involved. All of the products you named, the mobile homes, personal property, sales disclosures, the mineral rights you were talking about, Knox County is currently already doing that on the software. They actually give the mineral rights a number similar to a parcel that you'd have. You track it with a different number and class code. So that's already being done there. It's built in the software. There's nothing to be built. This is probably, I started out in '81 computerizing Jackson County, and let me tell you, software's come a long way. And this is probably the best product I've ever seen for an assessor from the standpoint that it's sketch driven. And that's what you guys get your assessed evaluations out of. And like I said, it's an excellent piece of software, not taking anything away from Guts. As a matter of fact, Vicki may have given you the study that was done in Bartholomew County. They have a data board. Bartholomew County is blessed with Cummins Engine and Toyota and some major companies. Their data board is made up of people from those industries. They're not made up from the county, and then they recommend to the commissioners and council what should be done. Guts was recommended for the auditor and treasurer's office, but they recommended Exsoft for the assessor's office, and that's the way they ended up going. So that's basically it. If you have any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. That's the original proposal price we gave, and we're stuck on that. We're not changing our price. So, I mean, that's just the way it is.
What was that price?
She has it up there right now. It's $141 and $19,000 a year support.
Did you all get to work in Bartholomew County on the other two offices?
Yeah.
So you guys work well together?
Yeah, we have to work together. I mean,
Yes.
I gotta, all these companies really work well together. We have to be certified, and that's part of it.
It's all about, what's best for the county. Once you're in there, you just have to do it.
How do you guys class that property? Is that done by the Tyler, or is that done by your office, or is that done by your software?
The class codes?
Yeah.
Those are set by the state.
It's part of the software, but someone has to make a conscious decision.
Yeah, you're gonna have to data enter the information, yes, and then once it's there forever.
But the minerals, you know, once you have them identified, you know, it's just $60 the acre and those numbers and you go with it.
And it gives you a way to track it and bill people.
Yeah, their class codes are 200.
Now, what happens when you have the multiple? See, I've talked to people in other counties, and the way we assess our mineral is different. I hear some counties like prorate mineral estates, like if one person owns the oil and gas, one people own the coal, that they split the $60. What's the law on that?
We do oil and gas, we get that separate. The people that own the pumps or the lease, they bring in the oil and gas, and then we calculate it. I mean, it's done totally different than the minerals themselves. The minerals are the co-rights. Our gas and oil are actually pumps that pumps the gas and oil, and people make money off of them, and they either pay royalty interest or working interest on those. But I don't know about splitting the mineral rights. As far as I know, I never heard of us having.
It's just flat $60 an acre, isn't it?
Yeah. That's in our guidelines from the state.
Right.
I mean, there's a sheet that explains all that we use $60 an acre.
And they have not increased that, as far as I know, since when I came in here in 1976.
One thing was, we were a little bit worried about the sketch program is not their program, it's somebody else's, and so they, it was not one program. I know they work together with it.
You don't
But
really.
one of these years, we're afraid we're gonna get a maintenance program, we're gonna get a maintenance cost from them plus a maintenance program from GUTS. And there's two different, Apex does the sketching, they don't actually do the sketching of the houses.
We've partnered with Apex and we figured why develop something that somebody else is already doing, so we've incorporated that, it's integrated in PVD, and we guarantee that there will not be any price fee or licensing from Apex. We're absorbing that as part of our agreement. So.
And it's in 2,500 jurisdictions in the country. It's a good sketch program. It works really well. People, once they're using it, they get used to it. But it does integrate. You don't have to double enter anything. It just pulls everything back over. As soon as you hit save sketch, you're back, it's put it back into our software, so it integrates with it. And again, Marion County has 380,000 parcels, and a lot of their sketches were done off-site in AutoCAD and other things, so, we had to have something that worked for everybody.
And I assume you can all start tomorrow.
And I will say, there was only two, you guys in Henry County were the only ones on Tyler software in the state of Indiana. And we converted Henry County probably about 2 or 3 years ago. We're the only company that's ever converted Tyler software. So there are routines involved, and we know, and I think it's in here as part of the model contract, the appendix that talks about the timeline. We know it's going to take at least 6 weeks for us to do it, and we've done it once before.
It will not be easy.
But we're staying with Tyler on the data collection, basically.
Right.
So they're still getting.
Right.
Now, are they going to reduce their contract by this amount?
Their contract was for.
No,
when
we bid that.
We had already paid, we've already paid off the software equipment. Their contract was for reassessment.
So that.
This is new. That's already been paid.
For sure? That wasn't built in the bid?
Not the software, it's already paid for Tyler, but the state came in and said we couldn't use it.
How long do we pay for it for?
The software is paid for eternity, I guess, however long we wanted to use it.
Obsolete now is what they're saying.
I realize that, but we licensed a product that was illegal.
Well, it wasn't. They found them compliant 2 years ago. Now they've decided that they're not compliant.
I realize that, but have we paid for
How
mean,
many
we
years
license
should
this-
Tyler have lasted? How many years should we have been able to use Tyler?
Their software.
Definitely, indefinitely.
Yeah, but they're not gonna license their software to us indefinitely. There's some type of a licensing fee, I'm sure, associated with it.
They never mentioned it, nobody
It's probably a
never.
purchase price and then an annual maintenance fee.
Yeah, you're probably
And so
just
you
paying-
probably already paid the purchase price.
Just like we
So
And,
you kind of own this, yeah.
right, and then now you just don't pay the annual maintenance fee because you're
So
no
what's to
longer
keep
using
us
it.
from paying you the one-time fee and then kicking you out on the maintenance fee?
Well, you wouldn't have the support,
Yeah.
anybody
You wouldn't
support.
get you wouldn't get the enhancements, legislative changes and so forth. And our support, I don't know about that, so I can't speak. It includes all legislative changes. There's no additional bills.
Yeah, that's what I had
Yeah,
said.
Janice announced it.
And any enhancements, we have users groups. If something comes up in a county, you know, that a county wants, and we develop it, we give it, that's part of it, we give it to the other counties to use as well.
No worries.
Enhancements.
No worries. And the DLGF is in the last 5 years, as I'm sure most auditor and assessor people know, they've changed their mind a few times on how we're doing things and the legislature, so, yeah, especially with the caps.
When did we pay Tyler initially for the technology that we licensed from them?
4 or 5 years ago, not sure without looking at the contract exactly what year it was. 2006 maybe, I'm not positive. I have to look at the contract to know for sure.
But we're still gonna allow them to do our data collection?
They do a good job. They do an awesome job. We have never been non-compliant with them in anything except we had mistakes on the software part. It was a new software that probably should not have been sold, but they thought it was ready to go, and they worked and worked and worked with it. I'm not knocking them 1 minute. I would still have them if the state hadn't. We tried everything to keep it, but they told us it didn't matter.
And they only have, is it one more year, Vicki, that their contract's good on the data collection?
2, I think.
We reduced their contract by a year.
Yeah, they had to do that, something about, you know, they had to rewrite it or something, Ray.
So we shouldn't really have to be buying this all the time, basically.
Not the software, no.
Shouldn't ever have to buy it again.
No. We had so many that.
How much did we pay the first time? I just can't get over this initial money we've had. I mean, we're flushing hundreds of thousands of dollars down the toilet. We're gonna marry these people for the rest of eternity, and we don't even know them. I mean, I think this is too big of a decision to make just from a 10-minute meeting. I mean, we learned the costly way not to do that with Tyler. I think it'd be foolish to just rush into it.
We'd be so happy to supply you with a list of the counties
Yeah.
that we're in.
What do we do in
and
the
some
meantime, though?
contact people.
I mean, what do
Well,
we do in the
you're
meantime?
falling behind
She's-
because she
she's
can't
dead
do
in
anything.
the water.
do anything.
She can't do anything.
She can't do anything. She's dead. Tyler pulled, they're gone.
Well,
Well, they're not.
I feel like
They're
they
gone on
should,
your software.
Well, we have the program still in our office, but we didn't go ahead and put anything else in it for the fact that we feel like what they're gonna pull out's gonna be hard enough, so we didn't wanna have to take a chance on doing it twice.
I don't have a problem with either of these people. What I'm saying is I have a problem letting these people keep a contract when they sold us this great big bill of goods and they're only able to deliver on half of it, and then they're saying, well, you're still gonna keep this other contract and do good with it. I mean, when you get divorced, you get divorced.
Not if you got kids, Lou.
Well, yeah, but really, they ought to be paying for it. They ought to be paying for part of it though, too.
I don't disagree a bit, but the thing is, they're two separate
They're two
things.
separate things.
John, do you think that we can squeeze any money out of them? I think we could, since they're doing work for us.
I'd have to look at the original contract.
Well, how long is this going to last? This 160,000?
Well, you hope.
Indefinitely.
Well, they have several other counties, and they have more all the time, and we've been told, and I was told today that they were having trouble with another county, and that scares me because, you know, you can read the pros and cons.
Right.
And you can see that Lou Wilson from Bartholomew County, he studied it for a year and a half. That impressed me, that he went through all these people and talked to them all, and nobody had anything bad to say about Exoff. I talked to him personally, and he said, I kept thinking somebody was gonna say Exoff does this or that. But he said everybody was thoroughly satisfied, and he said I didn't get bad reports, but I got better reports on Exoff than anybody. And so, and we were very critical with Exoff because we were not going to do Exoff. We had made up our minds we were not going to do it because it had sort of been pushed on us. But when we went to the office, I said, what do you think, girls? And every one of them said, I hate to say it, but I really, really like it. And everybody was in the same, there was nothing that we could find, and we critiqued it very hard.
Are there cost savings if you implement like a complete, like if the auditor and everybody else got on the same page with?
Oh, Exoff only has it.
We only have appraisal software.
We
We only
have-
deal with assessors.
But they recommend you for these other,
We have all three offices, which really is a great product because there is no balance or role to your auditor. There's one set of assessed values, there's one set of ownership, name and address. When the assessor's work's complete at the end of the year, she just sends an email and the auditor starts in. And it works very, very well as a completely integrated product. Is it cheaper to buy all three together versus one and two? Yeah, I'm sure it is. Because it's all done as one big conversion. But we eliminate many of the problems. I mean, my counties are getting DLGF compliance with no issues and problems.
so do we pay Tyler a maintenance fee this year for the software?
No.
I think they were decertified in December.
In December?
No, I think ours ends in February, Tyler. But no, we have not paid maintenance fee.
So really, they'd owe us for 3 months on just the maintenance fee, basically.
No, they've worked with us with the problems and things. They've worked with us until just the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if we're paying, I realize they're still working with you, I realize that, but they owe us for 3 months of the software.
No, because we've worked with them ever since. We've worked with them until there was nothing else to do with that. It would just wait and not put in the new improvements.
They were still fighting to try to maintain.
Yeah, we've been trying to fight it, and besides that, I mean, we just didn't think there was any reason to add more problems if we know that the conversion is not going to be easy. At best, the conversion is never easy, but this one is going to be tougher. We know it is.
And I will clarify one thing. Why I say Guts has a good program, and that's what they recommended in Bartholomew County. I'm not recommending anybody switch, because we have a good working relationship with all of them. We have an excellent relationship with Loudon Associates. And why would you invest in totally new software if they're satisfied with?
They've already told us they don't want
If they're satisfied, I mean, we have 18 counties where we work well with Loudon Associates, and there's no problem.
And we work fine with Loudon and Putnam, and if you do it one, it's all the same. It's all the same programs that they've passed back and forth.
Marvin, you have a question?
How can you explain the difference of $20-some thousand?
They found out that theirs was 19,000, so they moved theirs down from 30,000 to 19,000.
Actually, initially, our proposal had in the sales disclosure program and the appeals program.
No, but that was made, and then he went
Well,
down
that's
to
what I was
19.
aware of. Okay, that was
When
on
he
the
took
initial.
out the disclosure and the appeals, and I did not want the appeals taken out, but I mean,
Well, I think it's still included, he just took out the cost.
well, he told me he took them out both,
Yeah.
but it was only like 3,000 or 4,000.
Okay.
We're sticking with our original proposal. It's not a thing, we're not gonna get into a bidding war. That's crazy. Once we gave you a price, and we gave you an honest price, then I'm not gonna come back and say, well, we'll undercut them, because then it just becomes a joke, and our software is not a joke.
This one, it was built in Indiana, for Indiana, and Indiana uses it. They're
Ours
not-
is one.
And that, they're not, like, you know, Tyler was invested in, I mean, and they have it in many, many states. But you never worked with anybody till you worked with the DLGF from Indiana. I mean, I swear, you never worked with anybody like those people. They flat out told me, I don't care if you go to the governor, I don't care who you go to, you're gonna get the same answer. And I said, and you know that without even talking to the governor? I don't have to talk to the governor, I know exactly what he's gonna say. So, I mean, you know, all we asked for was a chance. Everybody else that gets changed this year will get a second chance to go back and show it again if they don't pass. But they didn't give Tyler a chance. We fought and fought to get it, but we couldn't keep it. So if we couldn't keep it, and I was working with it fine, a couple of our girls didn't like it, the rest of us did fine with it. But
Well, we have a recommendation from our assessor.
How much money you got budgeted for this? Are you going to have to go to the council and get additional appropriations, or?
no, there's about 166 right now in the fund, and that's without.
For software?
Well, that's about all we use it for. They won't let us use it for labor anymore, even though we can use it for labor. They say we can't, but we can, because I've got it in writing from the state that we can use it for labor, but they haven't let us use it for labor for the last 2 years. And we haven't even got anything this year, you know, so we've got the money for it. But they will take it in 2 payments even. They don't care if they get it all now.
Well, I need a motion, fellas. One of you needs to. We've got a request from the assessor to go with Exalt. I did a little research today myself, and while, as what you said, your auditors and treasurers gave you high praises, and I will have to say that Exalt had higher marks. So that's what I was able to attend today. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we follow her recommendation and allow $141,000 in the event she likes the software. Half of it be paid this year. If she likes it, they get the other half at the beginning next year. We'll hold it in escrow until she says yea or nay with whether she likes it or not.
I think it's written in the contract that it's 2 years payment. We agreed to that. And there's no interest involved in it.
I've got a motion, a second. I need a second. Do I have a second, Mark?
I'll second that.
And we'll all be in favor of it based on the information I was able to obtain today on the user friendliness of the product.
Why is the reason that you're going with the higher bid?
Because of the usability. Allison, we're about done here tonight. I saw you come in. Did you have something for us? Did you need anything?
No, you were gonna meet with me, remember?
Well, I forgot, but.
We were gonna go to the basement.
He's going to.
Okay. We're gonna meet in a minute now. Did anyone else have
I don't want
anything
to
to
get kinky or anything.
Ian? Thank you.
I gave you guys all a May Day Festival paper there.
And would like to ask for the commissioners' approval to use the courthouse lawn, the courthouse restrooms, and we need to have the power turned on May 3rd and off again on May 6th for testing.
I'll make a motion, we allow them to use power and facilities.
Have a motion, Marvin, you want a second? Okay, all in favor?
Can I get some signatures?
Is that all you have, Deanne?
Yes, thank you.
You have something?
Ray, I talked with several offices in the courthouse, and none of them knew anything about it, and passed me on to other offices, and eventually I ended up talking with Judy, and she said she was going to wait till the first of the year and talk to the new commissioners
With
as
Judy,
to,
Judy,
yeah. Hold on a minute, I was trying to say her name. She's retired, she retired in January.
Benachea? Judy Benachea?
Benachea, yeah, I'll stutter it out in a minute. Judy Benachea. And she was going to approach you in January about getting a new company to do the new plat books, but she then retired. So, have you, new commissioners, thought anything about doing a new plat book, or when to do a new plat book?
and I think Judy's still aiming to do that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I believe that Judy is still aiming to do that.
I talked to her, and she
Okay.
said unless she gets exclusivity, she's not going to.
But she's never been to us to ask for that. She wants the exclusive rights to do it if she does it, so that she doesn't have to compete with somebody for it. She doesn't want to do it and somebody else do one. And
Okay, and if she's doing that, then does she have to approach you as to what company to use?
She's gonna be the company, she's gonna be the one doing
She's
it.
going to use, okay.
And she's gonna do it like the old ones, the large format.
Great.
But she has never officially asked. She just talked to me about it one night.
All right.
Sounds like Luke might have spoke with her as well.
Now, she came in the office and talked about it.
But we've never given her exclusive rights to do it, so she still needs to ask for that if she
And
wants to
she
do it.
told me this before she retired.
I really hope she does it, because I want them to format, I think it's all in there.
She's working on it. I think she's going to, she had a last meeting.